especially after my new hero, your team principal there now, who's a big Sex Pistols and Motley Crue fan.
We'll get to that later. We'll get to that later.
Yes. Oh, you know what that sound means. Time for In the Paddock F1. Greeny and the Cheese. Round 14 of the 2024 F1 season. The last before the summer break takes us to the Ardennes Forest in Belgium for the 69th time. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. Belgium, known for its waffles, chocolate, and of course, the beer. Give me some of that Belgian wet beer, my friend. Yum, yum, yum.
You know you gotta get with the beer. You gotta get the French fries, the Belgian French. Forget about the waffles. Keep the beer, but Belgian French fries, crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. Everything else in Belgium is fish and clams and all kinds of other stuff like that. I'm not into that. French fries, don't miss out if you're in Belgium. Go ahead, dude. Sorry.
French fries are supposed to be crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. That's how you get a good French fry.
And Belgian French fries are the best.
You gotta get you gotta get the Belgian waffles with the big scoop of vanilla ice cream on top of that bad boy.
Right.
That's how you do it, son. That's how you do it. But this ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show, and we're racing the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, the longest circuit on the F1 calendar. 4.35 miles, 335 feet of elevation change. Excuse me. I'm a little sauced up this morning. In legendary corners. And of course, those legendary corners at Spa. Eau Rouge, Radillon, La Source, Wuhan, and Stavlo, to name a few. 19 corners it has. 2 DRS zones. You give it the full beans for 70% of your lap. And oh baby, we have got a seriously good race today. What was it? The top 3 within a second of each other at the finish line there?
Amazing finish.
Amazing finish. But at the start, Lewis got the great start. Cut off Perez. Overtook Leclerc in a couple laps. Controlled most of the race. But the tire whisperer, George Russell, made the call. Let's go for the one stop, baby. Held on for the win. Lewis takes second. For the Mercedes 1-2. Piastri rounds out the podium. Much to discuss after this one, my friends. We're caffeinated. We're medicated. Greeny. Good day, sir.
Good day, Cheese. What a day it has been. What a morning it was here in the U.S. as we watch the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. Man. What a unbelievable race. This is what we live for if you're a Formula One fan. This is exactly what you want. And you just mentioned at the end of the race, having 6 cars finish within, 8 seconds?
Yeah.
Something like that. Isn't that exactly?
I think it was even close. I think it was something more along the lines of 5-6 seconds, to be honest.
That is exactly what you want. It's just boom, boom, boom. And when you race for that many miles on the longest track, 44 laps, and you end up all within 8 seconds of each other in the top 6, what an unbelievable accomplishment. What an unbelievable parity we're seeing in Formula One now. Nobody picked Mercedes to win this weekend. Nobody thought they would, and they pulled it off.
Oh, 100%. Mercedes were nowhere on Friday. And to come up and make those changes, most of the teams, you had to make the call this weekend if you're going to go for quali, really, or are you going to go for the race with the wet conditions and a dry race. So you get the gamble on your setup a little bit. Some teams went a little heavier. Were a little bit more downforce heavy, like Red Bull, for example. Definitely were a little bit more downforce heavy versus a team like McLaren that was definitely went for more the drier setup. But Merc were nowhere on Friday, absolutely nowhere. They even said it themselves; they were nowhere. And to make those changes and then showing just pace, they were showing pace. And George Russell, the tire whisperer, again, he's known to on the radio to say, let's go for the one stop, and usually does pretty damn good with it. He is definitely a tire whisperer. But absolutely amazing. Amazing for Merck not even to bring in team orders there at the end. Say, let Lewis by or anything like this, to let him actually race and go at it. That's how that was fantastic to see as well. Absolutely. But in this year, this many different winners through 7 different winners through 14 races. If you don't hit your strategy, you're nowhere. Even if your car has pace. I mean, because everybody's so close now. The top, 4 teams are close compared to where we've been in a number of the past years. So the strategist has to really hit it nowadays in this season. If you don't hit your strategy, you're done. You're done.
Yeah. And we've been talking about this really for the last 2 months as we saw kind of the turn over into Red Bull's dominance kind of fading away a little bit with whatever happened. I don't know what happened after Max's dominant start, but finishing 5th today, starting obviously after the penalty, 10 grid penalty, where, quali was so deceiving. And we're seeing that now. P3 was reigning. I mean, P1, you really can't glean much out of FP1 really any weekend. So you got to look at FP2
setups. Yeah,
look at FP2. Really was the best representation.
FP2.
And McLaren looked great in FP2. Max was really third to the McLarens, and then Max comes out, and you think he's going to be able to best the field. Vegas really thought so. Vegas was giving him the odds to win, and Lando Norris slightly behind that. So just really, truly amazing. Nobody saw that coming, and that's exactly what you want in sports. Forget about Formula One. That's exactly what you want in sports. You want to be able to turn your television on or go to a race day and have no idea who's going to win.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to figure out
100%.
how much between first and second the cars are going to be. And that's what we were betting on even earlier in this season, definitely in 23 and most of 22. We were really betting on how many seconds between Max and second place, or who was coming in second. And now the board is completely different. The field is completely different. There's been no major changes yet, although those changes might be coming during the break, and we'll have all of that. Thank you so much for all telling your friends, because we're going to have a couple episodes in between now and when we come back from or Formula One comes back from their break, and update any changes. But thank you so much for joining us, as always, in the paddock@gmail.com, in the paddock@gmail.com. We just hit another milestone. We hit another Apple chart where it's fantastic, and it's all because of you. You told your friends, continue to tell your friends, and join us here in the Paddock F1 Greenie and the Cheese after every race. What happened to McLaren today, Cheese?
Well, Lando's race was pretty much almost ruined in the first corner when he actually put himself off into the gravel at La Source. So that set him back. That dropped him back a couple spots right off the bat. You couldn't really pass as well. The McLaren was way better in clean air than it was behind another car. They were struggling a bit behind somebody else. I mean, even Oscar came on the radio and said, "Wow, clean air is king." During the race, once he got into clean air, and he could actually show the McLaren's pace. So, not as good in traffic today. I mean, it wasn't as easy to pass as it has been in the past. They did shorten the DRS zone up to Kemmel Straight this year, so I think that is something to play in it. But it's also that everybody's just so close in general. So I think that is something to play with it too, that everybody's so close now, and it makes it a little bit more difficult because everybody's just that close to each other.
Parity. It's parity. Race strategy is just humongous.
Race strategy is humongous.
The one-stop strategy can give you a 1-2 today, and you have George Russell, who, like I said, the tire whisperer himself. He feels it sometimes, and when he does, he feels it. Lewis Hamilton. It's great to be able to mention his name every single episode now, and get these stats. Mercedes has won 3 of the last 4 races.
Yep.
McLaren has podiums. That's 10 straight podiums for McLaren. Yep. Are you kidding me?
Yep.
Swallow those numbers for a minute.
Yeah. McLaren's upgrades have been just spot on versus Red Bull, who've in some ways has actually gone backwards
In a lot of ways, they've gone backwards. In some ways.
I mean, they've gone backwards with their upgrades. They're almost pulling, they're pulling a Haas at the moment, bringing upgrades, and the upgrades are worse than what you had on the car.
Anything Max.
They'll definitely be mentioned in the next segment. That's for damn sure. That's for damn sure. With that performance they threw out there today,
weekend,
especially after my new hero, your team principal there now, who's a big Sex Pistols and Motley Crue fan.
We'll get to that later.
But Red Bull's definitely gone backward. I mean, Perez, you thought he might have maybe saved his job after quali, but then it was race day and he did the reverse. Instead of crapping on quali day, he crapped on race day. It's absolutely not a good performance. Red Bull got the strategy completely wrong too, by having two sets of mediums and one set of hards versus McLaren, Ferrari, and Merck, who both had two sets of hards and one set of mediums for the race. The hard was the king tire today. The king tire today was to be on the hards. They were flying. I mean, George Russell running 30-plus laps of the hard tire there at the end, and just the way he was just pulling away from Lewis coming out of the corners. By that time in the race, you thought he would not have the grip there to rip it out of the corner, but he had this ridiculous tire whisper there, saving the tires that well for the end of the race to still be able to keep Lewis behind him. That was impressive.
Yeah, and they let him roll. They let him roll.
To still have that much grip, and they let him battle. Let him
roll, baby.
Just that's the race you want to see. That's a race you want to see every weekend. That was exciting. Start to finish, strategy. It had everything. Everything. No safety car. Race was over quick as a button. Absolutely. Fantastic.
We're going to roll right along. That means, as always, after we're done with our top stories, it's time to torment me with some more of your questions, Cheese, as we enter the classroom of the sternest F1 teacher of all. He's got the questions. I might have answers. I might not. It's Quizmaster's Cockpit. Strap your helmet on. 3 sectors around the track. Either you get them all right, or you might as well not show up. Cheesehead.
Yeah. All or nothing, baby.
What you got?
All right. Are you ready, sir?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm not going to overstall this time, but go ahead.
All right. Here we go. Question number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Max Verstappen hasn't won a race in the last 4. For the first time since when, sir?
Ooh. I mean, do I have to get the year you're looking for?
The year. The year is what I'm looking for here.
2018?
2020, close, but no cigar. I actually thought you would have got that.
As soon as it came out of my mouth, I knew I was wrong.
I thought you would actually would have had that one.
No, you're correct, 2020. I should have known that. I jumped the gun. And that's what happens. Gotta think.
Question number 2.
Not great at thinking sometimes. It's not my forte, sir. Thinking.
Well, yeah, I've known you for a long time. That sounds about right.
Just off the cuff, you know?
Yes, sir. Flying by the seat of your pants.
Always. All right.
Always.
Next question.
All right. Question 2.
Not that it matters.
Merck had a 1-2 finish today. How many 1-2 finishes does Mercedes have in Formula 1?
Oh, they flashed the stat up. I think it's 55.
60th. 60th. Please, let's not go over 3. Let's not go over 3. Come on.
That's a tough question. You're freaking... I know they mentioned it, but...
Then this one's even going to be a long bit tougher.
All right.
Question number 3. I think you have 0 chance on this one.
I got you zero chat preemptively. Go.
We had 13 different winners to start the Grand Prix today. That's right. 13 drivers on the track have a W in Formula One. For the first time in a race since when?
Wow.
If you give me the year, I'll be impressed.
2014.
No, that was the. When was the last time that this happened? It happened today. It hasn't happened since when?
Because Oscar won, so made him the 13th.
That is correct. I could have asked you to name all 13, but
That have won a race today? That'll probably be a little easier. I could do that.
Maybe we'll give that a bonus question, so maybe you'll get one.
2014 was the last year.
2014?
Yeah.
No.
Well, obviously not, but...
The last time was 1980, the Italian Grand Prix, which is held at Imola.
Wow.
Bonus question, so at least you get something right. Name the 13.
For today?
That have 13 drivers on the grid today that have won a race.
You have Charles Lewis, Oscar, Carlos Sainz, Esteban Ocon, Max Verstappen, Danny Ricciardo, Sergio, Lando Norris, Russell, Alonso. Two more. I say Sergio.
Mm-hmm.
The 7 drivers that never won a race. Oh, Bottas?
Yeah.
Who's the 13th? God damn it.
I'm not even going to get one damn question.
Who else won?
Come on! Come on!
I don't know. Lance Stroll's never won a race.
No. Come on.
Who am I missing?
You give up.
I'm not giving up. Pierre Gasly?
That is correct. Thank God. Thank God. At least you got something. Give you a bonus question to give you an answer, so you get one right, and you almost blew that too.
That's not 13-part question. I mean, it's not easy. Most of it was easy. Takes a minute.
No, Gasly won that. Remember the little rain race there at Monza a number of years ago?
Mm-hmm.
And the AlphaTauri?
Took me a minute, but yeah.
All right, well, you got 1 out of 4, but that makes you a loser. So we'll take us right into losers.
Well, it was Spa, so to get a bonus sector isn't like the craziest thing, you know? All right, go.
No. My first loser, he was in the outhouse, the penthouse last week, but this week he's in the outhouse. That's Yuki Tsunoda. Disastrous.
All weekend.
17th, all weekend. All weekend. Awful weekend. Absolutely disastrous. So definitely Yuki Tsunoda, 17th, gets our loser column this week. And Sauber, just... It's pretty much weekly with them, but
yeah, it's weekly.
I mean,
now.
What's Joe last? Like 4 laps before he had a hydraulic failure. Bottas was nowhere. I mean, they bring upgrades and they get nothing. Nothing. Just it's bad. Bad news. I'll leave it there.
Can I make Lando Norris a loser? I mean, you know,
I had him as a bonus for losers. Yes.
McLaren's supposed to have the fastest car on track. He's doing his best Sergio Perez imitation the last couple days here. Definitely looked great in FP2, as we spoke about earlier, and just did not translate into today. You kind of got to throw away quali with the rain altogether, but did not look good, or not like his normal Lando Norris self as he's been looking, and allowing Mercedes to win 3 of the last 4 races, with supposedly McLaren being the best car on track. And Lando's got to be better than that. He's got to compete. He's got to compete for first or podium. 6th, I know, was so close between 1st and 6th, but Lando's got to do better than that. And of course, Haas. They take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back.
Yep.
Every time they tease you. They tease you.
Just a taste, the man said.
Just a taste. It's like, it's the worst. It's the worst, because at least I know Sauber's going to suck, right, each week. At least I know Williams has no chance. But Haas, the up and down is like the worst part. The waiting is the hardest part. It's Tom Petty once said. So, which leads us, of course, into winners, sir. So I'll hand it off to you and see what you got.
I'm going to give it to Charles Leclerc. 4th place. Held off Max and Lando there at the end. Definitely in a slower car than those two, and to held on to 4th. That was fantastic drive. Fantastic drive. Even off the start, even after Lewis got by, he was holding on to Lewis and gaining ground on the drivers behind there in the first stint. So really nice, well done drive by Charles today. Esteban Ocon getting the Alpine there in the points. Definitely a pretty rubbish car, to be honest. And to bring down the points at a speed, at a track that you really need pace. You need pace at Spa. And for the team that's really down on power and performance, and to put that thing in the 10th, give it up to him. Esteban Ocon. Your boy, coming up soon.
First of all, you don't even let me give him some flowers here. Bring him some flowers on a 1-point weekend. You son of a bitch. You know, I know we looked at like don't always look at the top of the field, but I'm going to give him another mention. Again, Lewis Hamilton in 2nd and Oscar Piastri in 3rd, both podium.
Yep.
Not guys you would pencil in on your bingo cards to be taking multiple podiums this season. Not at all. Not at all preseason. This is not you were thinking, and we didn't even make it to the halfway point, and they both have multiple podiums this year. You got to give it up to them. F1 totally topsy-turvy right now. I don't even know. I got to bring up the constructors. Can we bring up the constructors' points as of right now? Because it's pretty wild as I get some baby powder on my hands here in a moment. But what are we looking at right now as far as Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren, and Red Bull? Because it is got to be close now. Everyone has between 300 and 400, right? You bringing that up?
I am at the moment. My intranet is running slow.
The intranets.
Let's see. Red Bull has 404 points.
All right.
McLaren in 2nd at 361.
All right.
So definitely chipping away at that.
Definitely.
Ferrari is in 3rd at 340. And Mercedes is now up to 284 after the 1-2 finish today.
All right, so 120 points separating 1st and 4th at the break. That is not something we've seen in a long time. I know it's a lot of points, but with Red Bull's performance coming back to earth, that 120 plus points or 220 points, that the difference could come back to earth quickly. And we've seen, again, Mercedes 3 out of 4. Of course, that just brings us to powdering up our hands.
I need to slap my goddamn foot for that. I need to slap.
It's got to be Sergio Perez, man. You just put it right there in the numbers. He trails his teammate, but by over 120 points. There's your gap. Red Bull wants to win the constructors. They need somebody in that car that's going to be putting up points. to gain points versus McLaren, not keep losing points.
Yeah, if he had half the amount of point difference, which is 60 between the 120 point gap, then Red Bull will be 100 points over McLaren.
Yep.
In first.
Yep.
100 points more. Exactly, I think it's 40 points difference. So exactly 100 at the break, and it's not. It's 40 because. Sergio, just half the amount of difference. I'm not asking for neck and neck here, which they should be. Half. Sergio sucks so bad. It's bad. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to everyone. It's embarrassing to the sport. Put someone else in there that can drive that car. Unless Max is that amazing and that he's one of the greatest drivers, just put his face on the Mount Rushmore of F1 drivers of all time. If he's that much better than the car. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I follow what you're saying. Sergio's just zero confidence. The pressure's got to him, obviously, by the performances. I mean, you got to be there Saturday and Sunday, and he's there one or the other, not both. And if you want to try and win a Constructors' Championship, you need... I mean, he should really be no farther than, what, 4th, 5th, to be honest? I mean, there's your half. There's your half points. If he finishes 4th and 5th, 7 of these, 7 races instead of his, 9th, 10th, not even the points, don't finish, there's your difference right there. So, get out the powder, man. I think you're getting fired. I don't think we're going to see you in Zandvoort.
Get him out of here. That would be amazing to not see him in Zandvoort.
I really don't think he will be in Zandvoort. I really don't think so. Even Christian Horner post race interview, when he was asked the question, he said today will have nothing to do, or this weekend will have nothing to do with the decision. So that right there almost told me the decision's already been made, and we will not see Sergio in Zandvoort.
You could be the best and you could win this weekend and you're still fired.
Yeah. That's the kind of feeling I got of that. So get the powder. One last slap, apparently, unless you come back in somebody else's car next year. There are still open seats.
When's the last time? I can't even remember the last time someone finished in dry weather. Started front row and finished 8th with no mechanical issues.
I cannot remember.
I mean, did I miss something? Did he have some kind of mechanical issue that I missed? Or
no.
So he didn't beach out anywhere?
Nope.
That I missed?
Nope.
Yeah, turned my head for a second and something happened that I missed. He just...
Well, he did come on the radio at one point and say, we're so slow on the straight, so... I mean... But...
Maybe it was him...
Max was still moving. I mean...
Stinks.
You slap you in the ass on your way out the door, apparently.
Slap your damn self.
Ah, yes! You know what that sound means, boys and girls. Best damn sound of the week. So we take that fantasy ride to that fantasy island of Greatopia, where the beer flows like wine and the wine flows like beer. And the cannabis, oh yes, grows as far as the eyes can see. Look at it out there. Look at it. Green and luscious. Take a little whiff. That air smells fantastic. Take a little walk to the top of the hill. See it at the top. Just like Monaco, baby, but neither one of us is rushing to that casino cash out this weekend. We're cashing in and we check it out.
You were confident, I was confident, and because of your bet, because you never, ever, ever bet more than 50 greenie bucks, but you threw down hundreds, I threw down hundreds. To end the break, we both had Lando Norris winning. That didn't happen. 2 thumbs down for that. We both had the same trifecta again. Plus 2,000 on the Lando, Oscar, Max Verstappen, I believe we had.
Yep.
Finished. That didn't happen. The confidence in Red Bull we had is not good.
No.
Not a winning strategy to have confidence in Red Bull right now.
No.
You had Charles Leclerc. I'm sorry. So you had Carlos Sainz on the podium, I believe, or Leclerc on the podium. You had
Leclerc on the podium.
It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter because none of that happened.
No.
None of that happened. So you lost 400 greeny bucks. I lost 300 greeny bucks, which means that even though I'm a little bit in the dumps, I caught up a little bit, but it's still a massive chasm between myself and you. Over 1,000 greeny bucks as you're counting your dough over there, but
I ain't counting nothing. I'm still down.
It's only
we're not in the positive. We're still
only
in the
halftime. It's only halftime. We got some first half bets that we made, or some other bets we made. We're gonna go over those over the break, but until then, not a good week for the gambling. So once again, for me, you've definitely done.
We were checking out.
Checking out.
We were hitting the bars and the cannabis shops of Greentopia. That's what we were hitting.
A little too much.
We were not going to the casino.
A little too much. The casino says you're very welcome to come back anytime because we keep dumping our cash there. So they're very happy.
Got to go hit the craps table or something like that.
Us, not so much. Which, of course, brings us to the final segment. Each episode, we bring you guys the most up-to-date, as here, East Coast, 12 o'clock noon, on Sunday, the 28th of July. And it is, of course,
In the news!
A little in the news action. What you got for us this week?
Pretty good tidbits of information. I think we went over this last week, but it was announced officially this week. Your boy Esteban Ocon will be joining Haas on a multi-year deal starting next year, 2025. Are you excited?
You know, I've been riding that wave. He was in, he was out, he was in, he was out, and now he's in. I mean, his arrogance, as we talked about all season long, is not infectious. He's kind of a jerk.
I really don't think that's a good pairing to have with bringing in a rookie driver with Ollie coming in. I don't think that's the right guy.
It's interesting, and I've talked about that several times between Ollie and him. It's going to be those situations where I'm probably going to be like oil and water.
Yeah. Well, anywhere Esteban goes, it seems to be oil and water. So.
Yeah, I'm probably more excited for Pierre Gasly, wherever he ends up. But Esteban's been racing well, so in the end, we keep hearing about Alpine, and Esteban, but not much over the last month. Maybe because they're getting rid of him and they know where he's moving next, so it's a lot less stress. Or maybe is taking it more seriously and racing better. Or is this racing better about getting a contract and then he's just going to go all Max Verstappen and hang out till 3 a.m. again? Who knows?
Yeah.
But is Haas coming with some kind of supercar next year that's going to be competitive? Probably not anyway. So put whoever's ass you want in that seat. It's going to be really annoying Esteban Ocon, and hopefully he doesn't stick around for too long. But if he does, hopefully he performs and outperforms the car like he's currently outperforming the Alpine over the last few weeks here.
Okay.
Heck, like that.
I like it. I stopped paying attention there for a minute, but
well, hopefully our listeners.
It happens after you take a trip to Greentopia, so sometimes you just fade out when somebody's rambling on.
Staring at the carpets and watching them move.
All right, next story here. Andres Seidel is out Sauber, as Benatti is back in Formula One to take over at Sauber as the COO and technical director, taking over the Audi project. How about that? That didn't last long.
There's a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and
Well, I think it also comes out of the fact that That car is not progressed at all. There's still a toilet at the back of the back of the grid. So
they have any
I
points?
think that
They have any points on the board?
Yes, I believe so.
Like a point or two.
Joe got it. Didn't Joe finish points?
Yeah, 10th or something. Somewhere early. 9th,
actually,
maybe.
no. They have 0 points.
Oh, 0 points. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. You had me second guessing that.
So, I think that has a lot to do with it. I mean, he's been in the seat for, I think this is second year now.
You can't get worse than 0. And with the sprint race, they're just giving away points now. They're saying, hey, take some points. Here's some points. You should take them. And 14 races in now, and we're more than past the halfway point technically of the number of races, even though it's halftime. With 12 races to go, it does not look like Sauber is going to put themselves in position to score points. You never know week to week this time with Formula One. But another DNF for Joe. They can barely keep these cars on track, and Joe looked actually good in free practice. And they do look good in free practice at times, and they put up good numbers, but it does not translate over at all to qualifying.
At all the race day or race day
definitely does not translate at all to race day. So whatever they're doing in free practice, if you are unfortunately a Sauber fan, it's a little rough because there's always that Friday enthusiasm now, especially the last couple weeks here. I mean, Joe finished 4th or something, maybe last week at FP1, and then just nothing. Nothing. Bottas shows up top 10 FP1 or FP2, and then just nothing. So, they have the skill. They're putting up times that are conducive to, top 12 finishes. I'm not going to say top 10, but say top 12 or 14, and they're not even getting there. Yeah. So, they're bottom feeders.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would go get a job at the local Stop and Shop over dealing with that crap every day. And with those lunatics at stake, do you want to deal with that nonsense? Like I talked about preseason, which never got into all that nonsense going on with Ed Craven and all that crap. But
that's just money because Audi's the one who made this decision. So
yeah, but you still got to work with it every day. So you still got to work with it every day. You still got to be around it every day at the moment, even though that's going to fade away at some point. But it's
yeah, when the 3 rings are on the car, you won't even know it. You'll totally forget about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or the 4 rings. All right. Let's see. Where are we going to go next?
I think you're thinking of the circus, which it is. Well, so that's very fair.
Yeah. Become a carny. Sounds fun. Here we go. A little tidbit that leads back to our slap. Red Bull on Wednesday, I believe it is, are having a test with Danny Ricciardo and Liam Lawson taking the wheel of the Red Bull. Is this an audition to who's going to take the second seat?
Yeah, it's interesting. And Liam Lawson looked good last season, if anyone recalls, which maybe people didn't in last fall. He looked good. He looked like he was competitive enough to be able to earn a Formula One seat. Haven't heard about him since. It's interesting. There's multiple scenarios here, right? Scenario A is probably the least likely, is Danny Rick knocks off Sergio, takes the Red Bull seat, and Sergio's out. Liam Lawson takes the second.
Cash App.
Yeah, Cash App, RB, Crap App, whatever the hell it is, and takes that seat. Do we have Liam Lawson not getting the chance and do the flip-flop? But I think for Sergio, that's brutal. I would rather, if I was Sergio, just gracefully walk away and, make up some story about how he was injured all season and didn't want to say anything, or, or he's been injured for a couple of years or dealing with some family issues or whatever you want to make up. You got to make something up because you stink. Unless you say, I just stink, which he's not going to do, which nobody would do. So pro athletes don't do that. So I would say, if I was Sergio Perez, that's what I would do at this point. You have enough money to last your whole life. You're obviously not competitive enough. Now it's over a year. You're not competitive enough with one of the best cars. It's clear that whatever's going on, either mentally, physically, or somewhere in between, emotionally, it's okay. It's okay. You're rich. All right, you can buy enough cigarettes to last your family the rest of their lives. So you got it, man. You got the money. You got it. So walk away. Walk away and enjoy the rest of your life and not stress about it in a very dangerous sport where a lack of preparation and a lack of concentration could cost you a lot more than your job. And I think everyone agrees on that. Bring it back to reality for a second. But yeah, that's how I feel about Sergio Perez. I think he should leave the sport. I think he should blame it on some injury or something. Because something's wrong. Something's wrong with Sergio. And
it's called pressure.
Whatever it is.
Some people eat it for breakfast and some people can't.
Whatever it is, give Danny Rick the Red Bull seat for the rest of the season. Give Liam Lawson the opportunity in the RB with Yuki, because you never know what you're getting week to week with Yuki anymore, race to race. He's great one race, and then his lack of concentration is also concerning because he could be a top 10 driver, and I think it's the lack of concentration. He's also known to be playing video games till 3 o'clock in the morning as well. Maybe we're seeing a pattern here across the board, or maybe I'm just getting old.
I mean, who doesn't stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning playing video games?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who in their 20s doesn't?
Seriously. Come on now.
That's all I got. You got anything else?
I do, actually. Alpine will be ditching Renault engines for Mercedes. Thoughts on that? Also, is this the downfall? Since Renault's pulling out, will Alpine no longer exist? Will Andretti be taken over? GM is apparently dancing to try and get an F1 as well.
Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, Renault's complete downfall and failure, once very proud engine, not just engine provider, but team and part of Formula One, just nowhere. And it's been a long time, but nowhere as far as anything is concerned. And they keep trying, and I guess financially, it's probably a disaster financially. I think they keep losing money, and you have to make a financial and business decision at some point. Are you making enough money, if any, to be competitive in this space, and do you just walk away like Sergio Perez?
I don't know.
Should do?
I think there's a little bit something more going on there with probably. I have a really good feeling that Andretti's taking that operation over. I just have a feeling because you look at their top two motorsports that Alpine or Renault is involved in. The car's been a mess this year in Formula One. They invested hundreds of millions of dollars getting into Le Mans this year with two hypercars that didn't even make it to nighttime before they both had engine failure. Like, I think one of them was like 2-3 hours in even before it had engine failure, or maybe even less than that. So that's not good when you're putting that much money in and you last, a couple hours at 24-hour Le Mans. So their top two motorsport operations have not been working out. That's a lot of investment money that you're throwing in there. So I just have this gut feeling that they might be pulling the plug on the F1 team. Not like Renault hasn't done this before. They've done it before.
Mm-hmm. They walked away for a while.
So, I just got this feeling that Andretti still is chomping at the bit to get in. I think this is probably their way in. And it's probably to take over the operation.
You gotta look for a hole. You gotta look for a hole somewhere. And, I think we were actually excited. If you look preseason, and you go back to listen to our preseason episode, and you can listen to all of our episodes, all free, all out there on the Apples and the Spotifys and wherever you get your podcast. But if you go back, I think we were hopeful. Like Williams, we were hopeful for, but I think even Sauber.
You were.
We were hopeful for. It's BS. A lot of people were hopeful. And Renault.
I said they were going backward.
At least be competitive this year, and there's absolutely not competitive at all ever.
No.
They haven't been competitive. They're at the back of the track, and and
They came in the season overweight, which you just can't do if you want to be competitive in Formula One. You can't be overweight.
No, can't be overweight. You don't want to be the John Daly of Formula One.
Don't want to be any type of.
What else you got for us?
That's all I got for you, sir.
That's all you got for. All right, we're on break for a couple of weeks here. We will definitely throw an episode or two in during the break, especially when something drops or there's information you guys need. So stick around with us. In the meantime, check out all the old episodes. Check out everything. Listen to us. Email the show in the paddock@gmail.com. Continue to help us get on all these Apple charts all over the world. It feels good for us, and it keeps us going, motivated. And, of course, tell your friends, man. Cheers.
Tell your friends. We will catch up with you guys. What's that, the 25th of August? For the Dutch Grand Prix in Zandvoort?
Zandvoort, baby.
But until then, as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.